Alright, we are back in the outdoor garage. Today I'm doing the Woodcraft Clip Ons on my R6. So just going to document that process and show anyone who cares how to do it. This is currently what I'm working with. Whole front's still off the R6. So just going to start. I already pulled the bar end out, but just going to pull the bar end out, grips off, take all the controls off, replace it, do the same thing with the other side. This is definitely going to be a lot easier if you already have the bike taken apart like that. With the top triple off and a lot of stuff out of the way, it's going to be easier to access everything, but the process is still the same. And I didn't take any video of it, but last night I did the clip-ons for the XSR 900, so that's what this looks like. Same Woodcraft ones. These are with a 2-inch riser on it, but that's what it looks like. A little bit lower of a riding style, but that's kind of how I prefer it, so we'll see. The best way I've found to get grips off is take a flathead screwdriver, and then you're going to shove it in between the grip and the actual clip-on, and then spray some WD-40 in that gap and just swirl it all around, and the grips come right off. So with the screwdriver in there, you just spray some WD-40 right in the gap here between the clip-on and the grip, and then take the screwdriver and just kind of work it around the clip-on like that, and then it should just slide right off. So that's the grip off. Another way you can do it is when it's on, create that gap like I said with the screwdriver, and then you can put compressed air and blow a bunch of compressed air while you pull it off. But yeah, if you got some WD-40 and a screwdriver, works that well. So now I got to take off this control module thing area, and then the clutch and the perch. So it looks like it's just an 8mm socket here, and then Phillips head right here, and Phillips head right there, which I already took out. Okay, so we're back in the garage. Once again, I got a little ahead of myself the other night. So this is what we're looking at. Got the bar end back on, the grip, the controls, clutch, tightened everything down. It's where it's gonna be. I just put it back to where the stock OEM one was for now. Took some measurements that I wrote down off of kind of like when it's at full lock, how far away from the tank it is. Just find a constant and measure. That way you know. My triple's still gonna go on top, so it looks a little low, but it's where it's gonna be for now. So that's the one side. And then I remembered that I should probably film this side. So on this side, this is just a rough estimate. It's all still kind of loose. But the only thing I did do so far is measure the clip-on, how far it sticks out through the bracket, because you definitely want to make sure that these are the same, so that the geometry is the same. So the next step is going to put the brake master cylinder back on. I got it to where I want it. I just tightened it down a little bit, and now I'm going to need to put the control, the start stop switch on, which is going to go right about here. If you're using the OEM controls and everything like I am on this side and on that side, there's holes that you're gonna have to drill. So this is the OEM clip-on that I took off. It sits, you know, on the fork obviously. There's these holes pre-drilled into it so that the controls and everything sit on there so they don't slide. So we're just gonna have to line everything up and then drill a couple holes in it. So for these controls, you can see this little guy right there is that little nub that's gonna go inside the hole that we're gonna have to drill. So what I'm gonna do is dab a little paint pen on that and then line this up on the clip-on exactly where I want it, you know, that way, and then kind of just push and hold for a sec so that the paint transfers over to the clip-on, and then I'll know where I need to drill. There's a couple other ways you could do that, but I found just some paint pen on it, and pressing it down makes it easier. You can use tape, you can use other markers, you can kind of use whatever, but I just found the paint pen works the easiest. I'm just gonna dab some paint right in here. Just gonna make the circle. And then I'm gonna, so I got the paint on the little circle that it's going to tell me, and now I just need to line everything up, which is going to need 2 hands. So I just had it lined up. You can see that's where the paint transferred, kind of smudged a little bit, but it'll be fine. So now I'm going to grab probably a 16th drill bit to do a little pilot hole, and then I think a 3/16 drill bit. If you have a center punch tool or any kind of center punch or anything to mark where you want to drill, I highly recommend it. Drilling on round, small pipe like this is a little tricky, so I'm just going to mark center, push down. Now I got a little hole that the drill bit will eat into. Drill the pilot hole. It's just aluminum, so you can go get in there pretty easily, pretty quick. Any kind of drill bits should work fine, but it should be good. So I got the 16th hole in there, and now I got 3/16 bit. If you don't know what size hole you need, because they're probably all different, you can go to your original clip-ons and just, you know, measure the hole or stick drill bits in until it matches. So the hole is drilled now. Now we can just take our controls, and now that little nub that we previously put some paint on is just going to sit right in the hole like that, and then we're going to put the 2 screws back in. Now got that on, all tightened up, and do the same thing with the throttle tube. It's pretty much the same concept. This is the little, whoop, there's the little nub right there. So I'm just going to dab it with some paint and then slide it over, get it where I want it to go. And so got it. There's the yellow mark. You just have to make sure you loosen up the bolts enough that you can slide it so that the paint doesn't just slide across. It just makes one contact point. So I'm gonna get my 2 drill bits back out. So the hole is drilled, and now we're just gonna slide the throttle tube back over so that that nub lines up with it, and it should just sit right in. Throttle tube's back on with just 2 4mm Allens, and then just check to make sure that when you twist your throttle tube, this whole assembly doesn't shift left or right, and that way you know it's good to go and should be fine. And then next thing, we're just going to throw grip back on and then the bar ends back in. The best way I've found to put grips on and off, since I take them on and off a lot, if you're not trying to cut them and ruin them, I found that isopropyl alcohol, I think this is like 75% or 90% or something, but any kind of rubbing alcohol really should do the trick. You just spray a bunch on the actual throttle tube, and on the grip that you're throwing back on, you kind of just spray a bunch in the inside and then very quickly throw it on there and get it to where you want it. And it works pretty well, and when the alcohol dries, it kind of works like an adhesive in a way. And I've never had a problem. I've been doing it this way for years. Helps me be able to take grips on and off super easily and quickly without ruining them. So I sprayed that real quick. I sprayed a bunch inside the grip, and like I said, you just slide it on. Usually twisting and sliding helps, because I got these cool little domino grips. I like to just make sure that, you know, they're kind of straight where they need to go. And then once the alcohol dries, just leave it, don't touch for a while. Once it dries out, the grip's pretty good. You see on this side, I mean, these have been sitting here for a couple days. These grips are on there. They're not gonna go anywhere, so should be fine. And last thing to throw on this side, I have a brake lever guard, because I've yet to find the matching one for that side. I know I need to get one, but in my opinion, the brake side's a little more important. So instead of a bar end, I'm just gonna throw the lever guard back in, and it just goes in there. Protects any unwanting braking from anybody else on the track. So I got grip back on, lever guards back on, all this stuff is tightened down pretty much where I want it to be. I'm still going to be changing some things around, so I'm not too worried. I'm going to be swapping master cylinders and other stuff, so it's pretty much where I want it to be. The last thing to do, because I still left this whole bracket loose, I tightened the bar down at first because I didn't want this to slide while I was putting all this stuff on, but the actual clamp, these 2 bolts here, and then these 2 bolts that hold the actual clip on from spinning, need to get tightened down. So what I'm going to do now is make sure that this height is correct, which I took measurements of before. And then also when the bike is at full lock, I took a measurement off the corner of the fairing here to where this needs to be rotationally that way so that it matches up with the other side. This is all personal preference, but I recommend taking measurements before you pull your original ones off, so that way you have an idea. So it's all personal preference where you're going to be putting your clip-ons and how like wide swept or in they are. It's kind of just whatever you like, whatever feels good, but I definitely recommend taking measurements off the OEM ones if you were happy with it, and then you can work from there and, you know, sweep them out more, pull them more in, whatever works. Just make sure you check clearance so that if you have them narrower, you're not hitting your tank or any other parts of the bike. And yeah, just measure, take measurements before you start doing anything too much. Got everything squared up, it's all tightened up. They are matched side to side. Again, probably going to be changing them, but for now they're where they need to be. So yeah, it's all done. That's how you do clip-ons. These are Woodcraft ones, but the concept is the same for any different brand. They're all going to be pretty much the same. Just read the instructions. Woodcraft has a QR code on the box that kind of explains it. So I was just trying to make something a little more in-depth. Yeah, that's all I got. I think the next thing I'll probably be doing is deleting the ABS and swapping to non-ABS brake lines, doing a whole fluid change and all that kind of stuff. So